But you think we run the risk of like, ooh, looking at our sexy bodies? Where jump cuts come in.
We're going to open with this because it is currently recording.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
We gotta edit that shit out.
Why do we have to edit that out?
Because I didn't know we were recording.
I know. That was the point.
Are you recording this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manga Reloaded. Today we are live. Not live, but we're
as live as YouTube gets.
Not really. They have a live feature now.
Shh, no, they don't.
Well, we don't have it yet because we're not popular enough. We need to get more subscribers.
You hear that? Subscribe. I know we're supposed to do that at the end of the video, but do it now.
Yeah,
Then keep watching.
We're gonna get like 500 subs, and then we'll reach our peak at
500,000.
500
million.
500.
500,000 at least.
Yeah.
We are going to be bigger than Psy.
Okay. So
not quite as big as PewDiePie, but at least bigger than Psy.
Let's aim for bigger than. Let's name a manga channel. We'll try and we'll be bigger than Double Four. That's actually no, he won't because he's actually getting pretty high up there now. But you don't know who that is, so
no,
don't forget about it. Just don't worry about it. Anyway,
so as far as I'm concerned, we're already better because he doesn't exist to me.
You're gonna go home and you're gonna do some research.
No, I am not. Today we are going to be talking about not a specific manga, but different styles of manga and a sort of evolution. Not necessarily chronologically, but yeah.
This is the episode we nitpick the shit out of things.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, where to begin? Most people who are going to come to our channel have probably but probably are acquainted with manga. We are the Manga Reloaded podcast.
Hopefully, well, you know what? I won't even say hopefully this isn't your first time, because if this is your first time experiencing manga, came to the right place. You fine person, you. And I am thankful that you came to us to pop your manga virginity.
Yeah. So, okay, a standard manga, that's what it looks like, right? I think we all know, right? But anybody who's been collecting for a while knows that manga comes in more than one flavor. So on our little manga buffet here, we're going to try out everything.
Yummy.
But first we're going to talk about is how a lot of us kind of got started, or at least how one way in which I was kind of introduced to the whole thing were these manga magazines they used to have. They used to have the two primary ones were Shoujo Beat and Shonen Jump.
Dun dun dun! I'm sure none of you have ever heard of Shonen Jump.
No. Unless you just started collecting in the last 3 years or 2 years or so, you've seen this. Maybe if you're younger, it looked like this when you saw it, all nice and glossy, and it not having the same front and back. But
which I would just like to point out now is absurdly confusing for someone just starting manga when, like, standard manga obviously reads from right to left. So this would be your cover, contrary to, like, an American book. If you pick this bitch up, you don't even know. Does it even have...
Yeah, I think...
Does it have the thing that says...
You're reading the wrong way.
Okay, yeah. It does have the page that says, this is the last page. Start from the other side. But if you were just picking that up and weren't paying attention, which at the beginning...
Right, especially because, like, we know... Like, I mean, the barcode is on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows the barcode is on the back.
Right.
And even to the, and I think it's just because the way that these things are stocked in shelves, but even this has the barcode on the front.
And this is the obvious front because there's an obvious back. But, like, in this case, it's even more confusing. Barcode location, same front and back cover. Oh, at least it does have a little arrow that says read right to left.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get them. I'll zoom back. Can they see it? I'm not pointing it the right way. Where is that arrow? Right?
That's right. Somewhere. It's somewhere. Is it on the other side? It's on the other side. It's right there.
There it is. I gotta get used to this inverted vision. Yeah.
But yeah, confusing right from the beginning. The worst thing and the best story I have from early manga reading, because I started in my sophomore year of high school was when I first started consistently reading manga. And if you read a lot of manga and then like have to read a normal book, it's confusing as shit. Because you will either open the regular book backwards or you won't be able to figure out how to read the manga. Because I can tell you one of the most discouraging things from...
I've rewritten my brain that I just automatically know.
Well, yeah, I know now after 5-6 years of reading, it's a no-brainer, but early on it can be kind of a pain.
Yeah, it was. I do remember that. First time I ever saw one of these manga magazines was, I think I was... Dragon Ball Z was still on TV. And I used to go to these... most of them are adults now, but they were kids at the time, to their house, and they were like collecting... They had the subscription to Shonen Jump. And so we would... I would flip through and read some of this stuff, but like, if it wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dragon Ball Z, I pretty much felt lost, because it's in the middle and stuff, and if you're not caught up with the trade,
the only exception to this is this little beauty right here, Bobo. No matter where you are, you're lost, and for that same reason, you're never lost. But moving on.
Right. I mean, they were big fans of Yu Yu Hakusho, but I hadn't really... At the time, I hadn't really read it.
I'm definitely not a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, as you can see.
Right. Yu Yu Hakusho is a series that you can get all of it in Shonen Jump magazine. If you just bought all the magazines, you'd have all of Yu Yu
19
Hakusho.
volumes of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive. That's
a lot.
How many chapters are there usually
They average like 2 to 3. You might get like 4 if you're a big name series. Yu Yu Hakusho was never that. Like, usually whatever's on the cover gets the bulk of the chapters.
There's no Yu Yu Hakusho on this. Is it in there?
Oh yeah. Yu Yu Hakusho is in here. I guarantee it. I'll flip to it.
Naruto, Bobobo, One Piece, Shaman King.
It's in here.
Or is it?
It's the first thing.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, right there.
Yep.
Right
Yu Yu
there.
Hakusho.
See? Right there.
Someone getting their ass pounded by Yusuke. Common occurrence.
Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest disadvantage to these things is most people, they're not familiar with every single thing in the trade. That's kind of a flaw with getting Alpha, or that's not called Alpha right now. It's called just Shonen Jump Online. Which is it's now a digital magazine.
I don't know. Like, I think a big issue I've always had with it and why I've never read it is if I'm going to read a series, usually I'm committed to that one, maybe 2-3 series at the same time. I'm not going to be reading 7 series simultaneously. And if I'm reading a series, I want enough content to wet my whistle for that day. And 3 chapters usually doesn't do it. So
These are wonderful travel buddies, I've noticed. I actually think... I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do what Japan does, because Japan's like publishing industry is huge. They can afford to do this because they publish tons of paper all over the place, and the manga magazines over there are just ubiquitous. They're like everywhere. And but I found, like, now that I'm familiar with pretty much every single thing here, it's pretty fun to just sit back while you're like on a car trip or something and just flip through 2 or 3 chapters of everything. It kind of keeps it from, it prevents things from getting boring because you're jumping around.
Right.
But before we had these magazines,
We had a different kind of magazine.
this is going back into the past.
Dun dun dun! Pterodactyls, Tyrannosaurus Rexes, so ancient. Old school manga released in a comic book format.
Yeah, this isn't a comic book. It looks like a comic book. That
But it
word
is.
right there. Can they read that? Manga.
It says manga under the Dark Horse symbol.
Yeah. So originally they were going to try and release manga just among the comic books, like you would do the comics here, and what would consist of basically the first part of the first volume, even the first chapter or so, would take 3 issues to get to complete this, which is the Call of the Worm. And I mean, there's even parts where it takes 5 or 6 or even more of these issues to get the full, like, I guess you call it story arc or whatever.
Just keeping in mind,
As opposed to where you would probably get that all in a volume and more. And you'd pay roughly like $3 for each one of those.
this one was $4, so
Yeah, $4. That's
So
even more.
you're getting kind of. This is really. I would argue that the comic book industry is very money grubbing because it, for the minor amount of for this much content,
Right, now
versus-
that's making it thick. That's got the cardboard.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Stuff here. Let me show them how thin it really is.
This is how thin it is. This
For $4 versus complaining about this for $10.
Yeah.
You guys complaining about manga don't know anything. Go talk to an American comic book collector.
And even then, I mean, the panels are pretty big too, so it's not like giving you tiny panels crammed with content. There is not much here. So, really, and like it said, it's 1 of 3 for 1 chapter, so it takes a long time to make product. You get more out of this than you do out of that for any given series.
How much did a subscription to this cost?
Wasn't it like $20 a month or $20 a year?
It was less than that, $34.95. So $35, and you got
12
of these.
at least.
That covered all 12 of them. Yeah.
And then, another thing worth noting about this that makes it even more, or even less buyable as a manga is that it reads like a standard comic, left to right.
It's flopped.
It's completely flopped, so that is also a bit of a downer.
Right, because there's this whole thing about preserving the artist's original intent, right? Like, that's why typically manga is no longer flopped. The standard is no longer flopped. But okay, and one thing I just want to ask is if it's so important we keep the author's original art intact, why don't they print the color pages?
No, for real. Money. Oh, that's nice. Sex and violence served up hot. Soaring your way February through October.
Yes.
Yeah, a little more. I guess I won't say. What was like the risque level of? How has that kind of evolved over years, like censorship and things like that? I know we're gonna.
Well, if you want to talk about censorship in manga, this was a 18 or older type series. Like it's blatantly immoral. You can't really do it if you're gonna censor it. But Yeah, I think I've gathered some notes. We might be able to talk about censorship here in the West a little bit later, but just to talk about it briefly, the biggest reason it happened is Toys R Us,
Yeah.
because you'd want to sell like the Naruto toys, and the manga is, you know, inevitably linked to that.
But you can't do
So-
that if you're giving them bazookas and realistic looking guns,
Right.
because that
So there was pressure on Toys R Us and some other companies that, like Shonen Jump in particular, but other facets of Viz Media is probably the biggest criminal when it comes to this.
no.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
for kids.
Well, you're talking anime, but
That's
yeah.
that's true. That's true. But
When it comes to
if we're sticking to manga, then yes.
when it like basically Toys R Us, they're the big ones that pretty much said, you got to censor this manga or else we're not carrying the toys because we don't want to be associated with, you know,
Violence.
Naruto can't pull the middle finger because that would just be too
Naruto
much.
can't kiss Sasuke. That's just
He did.
wrong.
No, he didn't. That wasn't edited.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
In the anime, it was though. I'm sorry, I keep getting mixed up.
that's fine. Yeah.
But they didn't release the dolls of them kissing either. Just saying.
Was that a real thing?
Hell if I know. I'm just making shit up now.
Okay. Now,
It was it. Wow. I already need to go back and reread Naruto.
yeah, some people, even here in the West, actually like to collect the original Japanese versions. You see, this is the Japanese
Fancy.
Naruto, and here's the American English version of the same volume.
There's some slightly noticeable differences.
Let's get into the nitpicking.
For example, this one, the American is bigger.
It's got
It feels-
slightly better paper quality, and it's got a slightly better gloss, but
And this one also feels heftier for obvious reasons.
the paper's thicker.
Yeah. The paper's thicker.
Slightly, like it's a slight difference.
It's still not terribly thick, uber quality paper, but
no, I'll show them quality paper later.
yeah. But
But
and just as the proof, it is the Japanese version. It is Japanese. Okay.
yeah,
The backs are a little different too. Well, actually, the backs are notably different.
yeah, they like to. English versions try to kind of color it up and put like art back there. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you know, the formatting is different when it comes to like with the title. There's
Right.
just things written up and down. Oops. So that's the way Japanese is, but
But I would also argue that you get two covers for the Japanese one.
and some Japanese volumes actually have different like art underneath their slips.
So
That one doesn't, but
yeah. But I also think that's nice just from like a quality perspective. It feels nice to have that little dust sleeve. So even if you were to get this messed up, it doesn't mess up your volume. You have the piece underneath. So I think that's a nice little addition. I would
yeah, it keeps your corners in
Yeah. Good shape.
at least noticeably better shape, because the corners on an English version tend to get kind of
Ben.
smushed. Kind of like they kind of start to ripple as pressure hits them. And as far as shelf space goes, you get slightly more shelf space out of these.
Well, and they feel
But-
more portable too. Like
Yeah.
I would rather take like something like this on the go with me. Like I could probably slip this into my pocket. That even in normal pants, as long as I'm not wearing like tight jeans, I could just carry this around with me easy and flip it out, look through it, put it away. The American manga, it's still doable, but you need big pockets for it. I know, I've tried. But in general, I feel like the Japanese is a lot more portable. It's a lot easier to pick up and put down. Not so much as far as story goes, since obviously the story should be the same. But are there extra things in there? Go back.
Not really. I mean,
Well, there was like a little concept art in there. No, go further in there.
Yeah. I think that was like a fan art thing. I don't believe that's in the.
Yeah, none of that's in there. It just ends at the story.
I mean, sometimes the author's extras stuff gets in the English. Sometimes it doesn't. One Piece would be a noticeable example.
Very big one.
The extras do end up there.
SBS corner.
I think I was surprised how many Americans actually prefer to collect the Japanese version. Some of them are learning the language, but the biggest thing was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which for the longest time was not available in English. And it just recently started going and releasing itself. And people wanted, and also people want to support the series directly, and they want more of their money to go towards the creators instead of, like, I guess, going through the filter of paying for the service that Viz provides.
Exactly. I understand that. I can sympathize heavily with that.
Some of them are probably scanlating it, especially like in concerns of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and things like that.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get your fix. I prefer to use the library just because I'm a physical kind of guy. I have a lot of trouble reading an online version. I mean, a tablet kind of thing, it's iffy.
I do it if I have to.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it before. If I can avoid it in any way, I will, but, like, usually what'll happen, since I order through the library, is I'll get, like, Volume 19 and Volume 17, and then I'm waiting for 18 and it's not showing up, so I'll read 18 online just because I have no choice. I've done that with One Piece many times. But in general, if I can, I'll get the physical version of it. Just because.
Yeah. Are you ready to start really complaining, really start whining?
Isn't that what we've been doing this whole time?
No, now we're going to really start complaining. Okay. All right.
This is the worst piece of literature ever written. Just kidding, it's wonderful.
Okay. When you have... when it comes to translating Japanese... Japanese as a language just overall does not translate very well into English.
Right.
I think there's a website called Lost in Translation for video games. I would love it if somebody could point me out to an equivalent for manga, but so far I haven't found anything better than maybe Jason Thompson's articles. But so there's some choices that they have, and some choices are good, and some of them are not so good. Like for one, a choice I don't care much for. It can be seen in this. It'll be hard to notice, but you just take my word for it. Sound effects. Sound effects have always been a big point of debate when it comes to English translations, because that's considered part of the author's art. They drew the sound effects in.
Right.
That's why the author of, like, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures specifically said, do not edit my sound effects. While most manga just they turn where the kanji and the different Japanese letters would be, they'll put the English letters and try to stylize it in that way.
It very rarely works out very nicely. Most of the time, as from what I've read,
it so much.
I think it confuses me sometimes. I'm like, what sound is this supposed to be? What the heck is that? I mean, it depends. There are some that do it really well and get good onomatopoeia, but then there are others where it's just like, I don't know what that sound is supposed to be.
Yeah, and, you know, that kind of gets into something right, like, okay, for example, in Japanese, the frog would say gero, gero, and then in English, that's rivet. Right? So someone's not familiar with that, and you put gero, they'd be like, what is that sound? Because that's just not what they're used to. So they have a choice. How do we handle the sound effects? And what they choose to do in Durarara, this is yen. Well, this is a yen press, right? Yes, yen press. This is what yen press chooses to do. Keep the kanji in. They put the Japanese sound effect, and then the English sound effect, like romanticized so you could read both of them in like parentheses, the Japanese, and then the English in small pencil. So what ended up happening is I basically look over the sound effect twice, and it slows down the pace. It really does, because if it's in English and it's straightforward like that, it's not all stylized, I end up reading it.
Right.
So it slows down the pace for me. And actually, I probably should have used Soul Eater as a better example for this, because they sometimes even do it 3 times over, where they'll have the sound effect, and then they'll put the sound effect again in smaller letters so that I guess somebody who knows Japanese can read it in an easier way without it being all stylized.
Right.
And then they put it romanticized in English, what the Japanese would say, and then they put the English.
I admit,
it clutters the page, and I just hate that.
I've gotten to the point where I just kind of skip the sound effects, and you're right. Like
it becomes easy to ignore, but
that kind of started with Soul Eater, honestly, because Soul Eater is just very repetitive about its sound effects, and it just got to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm just ignoring the sound effects.
Yeah.
And that's not to bash Soul Eater. I think Soul Eater.
So sound effects, either just leave them alone, just leave them alone, or I'm okay if you stylize them into English letters. I don't really find that offensive.
Right.
But if the author says they don't want that, then don't do it.
And then we have this wonderful piece of artwork right here. Parasite.
The translators chose to do in Parasite is fantastic. Kodansha. I've never seen another manga that does that. I don't even think... I only own 2 Kodansha volume series, but does Attack on Titan do this? I don't think they do. I could be wrong.
They might. Oh, it's been a while since I've read an Attack on Titan, but I know there are other ones that do that. It's kind of rare.
Regardless, they put these translation notes in the back,
and
where things become context sensitive. Where if you don't understand Japanese culture, you probably won't get it. So they'll do what's called Americanization, where they'll throw in an American equivalent in the text, and then they'll in the back go and explain what it really was.
Yeah, it's
for those who really care. And it doesn't. What it does is it actually, I think, helps.
Oh, it helps a lot.
I think it's a lot more professional to do that. If you're going to Americanize something, that's probably the right way to do it. It makes the nitpicking, whining dweebs like us satisfied.
Exactly.
I'd prefer it if almost every series did that, if need be.
Yeah, like here's a good one. Here's a really good one. It explains the name Parasite. In the story, they actually use the word parasite, like the realistic word, but they use the English equivalent of it. But that would just seem weird to us. So to make it seem like it's different, because they actually use the American word parasite in the Japanese version. But to Americans, that would just be like, okay, whatever. So to make it different, they spelled it with a Y. Right. And it's things like that. It gives you the little context into why they do the things that they do.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite refreshing. I mean, I feel like it's gotten a lot more popular. It's still not big, but for some manga to, in the back, actually I've even seen it in the front occasionally, they'll explain like the, what are they called?
Kanji.
Not the kanji, like the san.
Honorifics.
The honorifics. They'll explain the honorifics prior to. I know Sergeant Frog was the first one I ever read that did that. And it goes into explaining like those because obviously...
Right.
To us, it's like whatever. Like, obviously there's some we just know, like sensei, things like that, have just spilled into the American culture. That it's not too unknown. But then you get weird ones like san, chan, dono. And we don't get it. Or just no honorific at all is something as well.
Right. Well, I think, honestly, drop the honorifics for most things unless it's lore relevant.
Exactly.
One series I think it's particularly lore relevant would be Rurouni Kenshin.
Exactly.
I thought Viz was very professional about how they handled the honorifics in that series because it was lore relevant. You know, you don't need it in One Piece. You don't really even need it in Naruto. Those take place in fantasy universes. But the historical context and the way Kenshin interacts with people with honorifics is different from everybody else. It's showing his obscenely large amount of respect for people.
And
Unusual.
even then, just kind of the setting, it just feels very appropriate because it feels like a very old school but real world setting. And it's just understandable to have that because, like, you have lots of masters because the entire thing is kind of set of, like, dojos and things like that where you have someone that deserves to have respect shown. And it's nice to have that little addition that they do in Kenshin.
Yeah. So, translation notes.
Good
We like
thing.
it when it's good. We hate it when it's bad.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about special editions.
Ooh, shiny, shiny.
I wish our friend Nick was here because he was going to show off 2 different kinds of Gundam manga. But I'm just going to show the one I have. This, as far as I was told from him, was pretty much like something you had to get from buying the DVDs here in the America. I've never seen the Gundam series. I've never really seen any Gundam up to this point. Not much, anyway. This is... Which Gundam is this? This is... Double O. Double O. This manga pretty much is like... I don't know. It kind of like highlights events in the anime. I felt lost because I hadn't seen the anime. And you got it here in the West by buying the DVDs. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon now or whatever.
Sure.
There's other methods, but originally that's how you had to go and get this. And if you really want a good Gundam manga, I wouldn't go for this. I'd go for the hardback collector's editions of the rendition of the first series that they started doing. Those things are beautiful. I'll probably superimpose an image of one of those over this video.
Because no one really wants to look at us, let's be honest.
No one wants to look at you. Everybody saw the ugly Blake and died. The end.
Don't touch me! I miss Sean.
I know.
I love you, Sean. He died. I'm not sure if he's actually there anymore. He was there, but I think he's dead now.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Sean's not in this because he's sick.
He's sick.
Yeah. So.
But, okay, that's not how I feel people should do a collector's. If you're going to do a collector's edition, it needs to be special. This is a good collector's edition. This is the only way you can get the part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's $20, but it's worth it. It's a little bit thicker than a standard manga. You get a little bit more. You get quite a bit more, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Something else
Go ahead.
that just reminded me of, and this is going back to Parasite.
Okay.
As you'll notice, Parasite is it's still thicker than a traditional manga, and it was because it was one of those rare occasions
That's actually... Yeah, go ahead.
where they decided to, when they reprinted it in English, they actually condensed it into less volumes because in the Japanese, I believe there are 10 total volumes. In English, there are only 8.
Right. They had
And
to incentivize people to buy it again because a new company had bought it.
right.
Originally, someone else had it. I don't remember who.
I want to say Dark Horse, but I'm probably wrong.
I don't remember.
But
you kind of had to make them like
Mhm.
worth buying.
Right.
Again.
Anyway, special
But yeah,
edition hard
Yeah,
covers.
yeah, hardcover. The color pages. If I could find one here, I know the first volume had them. This one may not have color pages. Hold on.
Aha.
There they are. The color pages are in color.
To the left, to the left.
Right, there we go. Look at that. It's that, back in the day, old Shonen Jump, you could have like one color added into there, and he picked orange.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a full color, like bunch of different colors in the first volume.
Mhm.
There's a good color spread. You know, okay, you might be paying a little more for the colors, but give us our colors, okay?
No, for real.
Instead of making these color walk or color art books for us to buy separately, just give us the damn color pages.
And then we hit the granddaddy of all special editions ever.
Omnibus.
The omnibus.
That's how you do an omnibus. You know what? The 3-in-1 editions of Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, and even Full Metal Alchemist. Screw them. They suck. They're not bigger. Like they're the same page length. They literally just took the same pages and put them under a new spine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same paper quality. I actually think it might even be a little bit worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's I know because it's cheaper. They
Right.
do it to make it cheaper.
Right.
And it's... And even like the Death Note Black editions kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit better because they do have color pages, but the pages aren't really that good. And I've heard people complain that like since it's like a finish on the thing instead of a gloss, their fingerprints kind of start glowing on it.
Right.
Yeah, this is where we nitpick. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that. That's sexy. That is an omnibus. That's worth buying. That's worth buying again if you already have all the volumes. I already had all the volumes of Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, where is it? And... Oh, I missed it.
What?
I'm looking for the color pages. Just as...
But yeah, when you read that, the paper quality, the paper is nice and thick and kind of even a little bit glossy, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's
that's
very
paper
nice.
that's going to last. It's not going to yellow, and it's going to age pretty well for the most part. I mean, it might get a little bit yellow after a couple years, but manga pages don't tend to age well.
Like that. Now, that's just actually this cover... No, it's not. I thought it was the cover of the next volume, but it's not. No, it's just a in-color chapter.
Yeah, or the artwork, yeah.
Yeah. And then... I swear there was a big...
That's how you do a collector's edition.
Yeah. Things like this. Artwork like this. Beautiful.
That's worth buying. That, and I think Vagabond has a similar omnibuses. Like, seriously, that's how you do a collector's
Oh, and also
edition.
just in case like you weren't actually aware of like what exactly an omnibus was, it's just multiple volumes in one binding. Again,
Yeah.
like we said, it's cheaper. This is $20. And if you were to buy them separately, you'd spend about $40.
Yeah, you'd spend about $40 for this one because this is
And it's
4-in-1.
higher quality, everything. So really, it's better in every way. It's mostly just a collection preference and availability because obviously not every series gets an omnibus.
No.
And then we go from the highlights to the
Ready for dessert?
lowlights.
Ready for dessert at this manga buffet.
How should we break it to them? We should we start
We just had a nice steak and we're about to have like the shittiest Chinese cookies you've ever eaten. We're going to talk about Tokyo Bob.
We're going to talk about Tokyo Bob and why we think they went down the shitter.
All right.
This is why Tokyo Pop died.
I wouldn't say that one.
Specifically the Kingdom Hearts manga. This is the reason if they hadn't made this, Tokyo Pop would still be alive. Okay. Maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit.
Among the Tokyo Pop releases of bad quality, this is among the better things. At least it's original artwork.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's kind of a gag version of Kingdom Hearts. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not what I was looking for when I bought them, but
Oh, also,
It's okay.
just as a note, this is from left to right, so it's not even standard manga format. It's
flop.
Is it even flop? Was it ever in a manga format? That's my question.
Yeah, this was, yes. See you
Uh-huh.
can see the kanji and stuff and the
Right.
sound effects. But
All right.
back.
Okay, we're back now. Technical difficulties, tickling
Alright.
difficulties.
So, what is it we're bitching about? Okay, we don't have very many of these bad quality manga we're about to tell you about.
And for the record, you shouldn't have any of these things, because if you do, you're a bad person.
If you look at the advertisements in the back of this Tokyo Pop release, we got... Well, let's just explain the mistake they made, okay? Tokyo Pop wanted to stretch beyond the whole manga thing. Like, they wanted to expand manga into this cultural phenomena that encapsulated the Western stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really trying to kind of grab the younger audience as well.
No. No. It should have just been
what you get is animanga and cinemanga. Alright? So you get The Incredibles manga and Bambi the manga.
Bambi the manga was actually quite good, just saying.
Oh yeah. You get Finding Nemo and Kim Possible the manga.
And
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just read a little bit, because they have, at the time, they have a list of every single series they had control of. Just give us some highlights on this list right here.
Well, why don't we explain to him first what is a cinemanga or an animanga?
Well,
go ahead and hold it up. That one's these are Viz, but that doesn't make it any better. It's still a bad sin.
it's still a bad thing. It's even worse because this is like a reputable name.
Yeah.
In Yuyasha, and then you animanga it, and what you get is this. What looks like scenes from the actual...
They literally took pictures from
of the anime
and just...
put word bubbles to it.
Put word bubbles there. What's worse about that is... Like, okay, this is the Inuyasha movie as an animanga.
That's understandable.
I get it, okay? There was some Naruto animanga coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. If you really liked the movies that much, that you wanted them on your bookshelf too, you wanted to read them. If you wanted to read the anime, you didn't want to watch it.
You finally have that opportunity.
Right. Animanga.
But...
I kind of get the movies, but I still don't. It's like, just buy the damn DVD.
yeah, for real. It's not canon anyway.
Or now it's like, turn on your computer.
Yeah, exactly. Just.
I know these were before the internet was super good, but it's still weird.
It's
like,
weird.
Like, here's the other problem. Okay, Viz, you're like, oh no, we can't do color pages because it would cost too much. But we'll take full colored shots from the anime and sell it to you for about the same price as a manga. Can we get a price on these somewhere?
I'm trying to see. More expensive than the manga. This is
How much?
$12.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't afford to put some color in it, but we'll send you the anime as a manga.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Charge you more money for it instead of just giving you, like, if you wanted color, people wanted color, just give them the damn color.
No.
I like colors, okay?
We'll just take pictures of it and sell it to you after you buy the anime.
If you didn't want to
read the manga,
because I was dying to read the Bambi comic, like Bambi the movie as a comic.
It's not even a comic. It's in a manga format. It's not even a comic. That's the thing. Maybe if it were comic, okay, I still wouldn't respect it if it were comic.
Why don't I read that to you? Let's just read this.
Here's the list of some of, and this wasn't even at the end of their lifespan, so it got worse from here. But yeah.
All right, Aladdin, the manga. Yeah. Card captors.
Okay, card captors.
But they got card captors, like,
yeah, they got card
captors too.
So that means that they redid the Card Captor anime as a manga, because Card Captor Sakura was the actual manga, correct?
They're double dipping.
Exactly. They hitting it again.
Duel Masters, the cinemanga.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Riff-off. Fairly Odd Parents.
Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Yes.
Just let that sink in. Family Guy.
Isn't the only reason
The manga.
people watch Family Guy for Seth MacFarlane's weird voices?
Yeah.
And now you're going to read it?
Yeah.
No. Like,
Imagine cutaway gags. Like
exactly.
Like, how shitty are those gonna be?
Those are gonna be really bad because you're gonna literally see them coming.
Yeah. No. Hey, Finding Nemo, the cinema.
No. Jackie Chan Adventures, though. I would read that. Jackie Chan Adventures was the shiznit. I don't care what any of you say.
G.I. Joe Spy Troops. Jesus Christ! G.I. Joe is already a comic book series. What the hell?
Money. Hello.
Greatest stars of the NBA. National Basketball Association. Highlights.
In
The
manga. Oh, Lizzie McGuire, though. At least we have that.
Yeah, Lizzie McGuire. Lizzie McGuire, the movie, the manga.
Ooh.
Lilo and Stitch, the series, the manga.
Okay, to be fair, Lilo and Stitch had an anime spin-off.
That was years after this.
Wasn't... Oh, was it? No, I think you're right. Actually.
And it's Lilo and Stitch. That'd have been Stitch with some other girl in Japan, I think.
No, it was Lilo and Stitch. They did the anime version. It was Lilo because it followed...
She looks different.
In the anime?
Yeah.
I think you're full of shit.
I think we'll let the internet test that and see who's full of shit.
Dun, dun, dun.
She looked different to me when I saw the ad.
He's never seen the original Lilo and Stitch. He wouldn't know.
I've seen it.
Sure you have. But did you watch the cartoon series?
A little bit, not much.
Okay, fair
All I'm
enough.
going to tell you is mosquitoes are an endangered species.
That's about all you need to know.
Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. The Adventures of the Manga. Malcolm in the Middle.
Power Rangers. Power Rangers. Anime before it was anime. Power Rangers.
Princess Diaries 2.
Ooh.
The manga. They don't even have the first one, which is like they're both bad, but Princess Diaries 2 is utter shit. They don't even have the kind of okay one as a manga.
Maybe they do. Maybe Viz took that one.
No. Rave Master. Okay. Well, no, yeah, they double dipped again there.
Mm-hmm.
Shrek 2, the manga. Simple Life. I don't even know what that is, The Simple Life.
I think it was an old Disney series. I might be wrong, though.
The Simple Life. Of Zach and Cody?
No, that was The Sweet Life.
Oh.
But this,
Okay.
I think it was something around... I don't know. I didn't watch Disney as a child. I was...
SpongeBob SquarePants, the manga.
Nah!
Spy Kids 2 and Spy Kids 3D Game Over, the manga.
How does that even work? It was supposed to be 3D. Do you have 3D glasses while you're reading it?
I don't know.
Maybe Tokyo Pop was on to something.
No. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Teenage
the
Mutant
manga.
Ninja Turtles.
Already a comic. Already a comic book series.
Already a comic, a video
That's So
game.
Raven. I'm just going to keep reading these. We're almost through it all. Totally Spies.
Totally spies.
Transformers Armada.
Transformers I can grant.
Transformers Energon.
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 Oh, no, you're right. No, I think it is Energon. I don't know. And then they released some novels, some art books, some anime guides, and Tokyo Pop Kids. What's Tokyo Pop Kids?
Stray Sheep.
Never heard of it. It's probably awful.
Gee, I wonder if they might have, outprinted and ran out of money?
Tokyo Pop didn't do that. They're still going strong, right?
No, they died. They said didn't they say they died because Borders went out of business?
Yeah, because Borders went out of business and Borders had bought... Borders was the #1 person who bought from Tokyo Pop. And when Borders went out of business, guess who didn't pay Tokyo Pop back? Guess who's out hundreds of thousands of dollars?
But here's the thing, okay? Young Press, same situation. Viz Media, in the same situation.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse is in the same situation. All of the other comic book industries are in the same situation.
They're still around, aren't they?
Dark Horse?
Dark Horse is still... Is it not?
Yes.
I was pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
But guess who isn't? Tokyo Pop. Which makes me sad, because they did have some good series. Now, what they did was they released...
I really want their Lupin the Third. I really want that. I can't get it.
Yeah.
It's expensive as hell. The volumes are rare.
Yeah. And, well, like, just recently, again, my favorite series, Sergeant Frog, they stopped at 21, and I didn't know that Tokyo Pop went under, so, like, I was waiting for, like, I don't know how many years, just being like, when's the next one gonna come out? And then I found out, and I'm like, oh. But it just recently got bought back up by someone. I think Viz picked it up, which makes me so happy.
It'd probably be Viz or Kodansha. They're the ones picking up all of Tokyo Pop shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, is Dark Horse picking up any of that? I don't know.
I doubt it. Dark Horse is more of a comic book anyway. Yeah. They do stuff like...
Yeah.
They usually do a lot of the underlying stuff, like Hellboy, anything Alan Moore touched.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Honestly, Tokyo Pop was a good name, but this stuff just wasn't doing it.
Really, I don't think that was it. It was we don't have the Tokyo Pop Cinemanga, but it's stuff like this. Okay, this shit is shit,
and probably a good contributor to why they're not around anymore. Now they still have a very, very, very tiny internet presence. They still have Hitalia Axis powers, which, granted, as big a name as that is, that's really all you need. But at the end of the day, Tokyo Pop's dead, and this is some of the reason why. Did they have Dead Man Wonderland?
I believe so.
Okay, because they just started reprinting that. Yeah. I've started reading the reprints of that.
Yeah. I think that I'm full. It was good. It's good eating.
Well, that was pretty good. And you have been reloaded. That's going to be our new thing, I promise. It'll catch on. Everyone will be doing it.
I don't think so.
Reloaded. I put 2 fingers in it that time.
Double barrel.
His finger wasn't even in the shot.